I watched Trucker John, but I forgot to brush my teeth because I've been watching so much Trucker John show. Hey, I just want to tell everyone, make sure you watch the Trucker John channel on YouTube. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, he goes live. Have you heard about this Trucker John? He's on YouTube. He's got the Trucker John live stream going on, and you know what, man? I think it's pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool.
The Trucker John channel on YouTube is what we watch. Yes, you must watch this show. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. in the Pacific time. I suggest you watch it. You don't want to defy me. Believe me. Oh my gosh! Trucker John's gonna be coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. By golly, that's at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, it's a Trucker John. Yeah, oh my goodness gracious, yes sir. I'm gonna watch that Trucker John. Yeah, hey, maybe you should be checking out the Trucker John show over there on the YouTube. He goes live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Trucker John is so funny. Yeah, he does live stream Tuesday, Thursday, 9 a.m.
Hey, ooh, I don't know about this one. Just watch the Trucker John show live stream Tuesday, Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Just, yeah, I don't know about this one. Hello there. I'm here to talk to you about the Trucker John channel It's on YouTube. And he likes to do these live streams. I don't know what's gotten into him, but I got a funny hat. I got a funny hat. A funny hat. I'm afraid this is what happens when you get a flat tire and you're waiting for the service truck to come out and fix your tire. You go on Snapchat and you can do all these filters and all these funny voices, and it's just what you do, I guess.
I watch the Trucker John channel quite frequently, but I really don't want anyone to know.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Trucker John. All right, let me turn my mic on. I don't know. We only have 7 people watching. I think everyone is like laying down or something after that 2-hour extra bonus time of House Sparks. I think everyone just wore out. I almost didn't feel like going live. I'm like, I want to take a nap now or something. That was quite something else there, wasn't it? Hey, Mish. Mish is here. Oh, you got Ask and Mish. I don't know if anyone's going to come over today because everyone, I think, is just wore out. I think Hal and Brian wore us out. those motherfuckers. But we need to cool down. We need to do a cool down, if nothing else. So let's cool down. Let's just bring it down a notch. Let's unwind a little bit. Let's get, I don't know, let's just shake it out of our system here, maybe. Let's just shake it out. Not that I'm saying that it wasn't important what they were saying and it was bad. It was great. It was a great conversation, but it was a little heavy at times. And so I think, we need to cool down. So let's cool down. Let's cool her on down. Cool it on down. But thank you guys for being here, the few that are here. And we're just going to work out the kinks here. Now, I was thinking about doing a walking show today. And I probably could have done it. I didn't know that Hal was going to go out 2 hours extra. If I had known that, I would have set up and done the walking thing probably. But I've been sitting here basically for 2 hours just watching and waiting and, going through all the little... the reboots that they had to do because of the crashes and stuff. And then and I'm sitting here watching and going, okay, is he going to end it now? Is he going to end it now? Is he in now? Mish says, yeah, it was something. I need to cool down for sure. Yeah. So, but that was pretty intense. Anyhow, how's it going, guys? Here it is, April 6th already. Before you know it, it's going to be April 30th or whatever. Here we are, April 6th. It is right now we are at 61 degrees. We're going to have a high of 66. Which is a little warmer than yesterday. Yesterday we only got into the 50s. It was kind of cloudy and a little bit sprinkly, a little chilly. At night it got kind of chilly and down into the 40s. So after having a few days where we had in mid 70s and really nice, beautiful weather, then we got a little cool spell here, but it's going to be warming up again in the next couple of days. We'll get back up to our mid 70s and maybe even hitting 80 again. So right now I feel like I have a stuffed up nose for some reason. I don't know. I think it was from that 2 hour extra over there. Hey, Big Hook's here. Jolie's here. Thanks for being here, Jolie. Big Hook says, I think the problem is that conservatives have a different dictionary from the rest of us. The words used are the same, but only different meaning or interpreted very differently. I don't know. Yeah, they have definitely something different. They are very, very different than we are. That's for sure. And it's sometimes, yeah, it's like, I need an interpreter, please. So there's that going on. Let me just check the other feeds real quick. Let's see what's going on over here with Facebook. Do we have transmission? Is that the word? Is that the correct terminology? Just trying to check. For some reason, Facebook is being really slow. Just want to see what it looks like over here. If I've got a live, it says, there it is. Let's see. So Facebook is up and running. And, but I don't see anybody over there. So there, I just said hi. And then let's just check out Twitch. So we're also on Twitch. Good old Twitch. And that slowly but surely it's growing a little bit here and there where I get some followers over there on Twitch. I think we're up to 11 or something like that now. Let's see here. But there's 0 viewers over there. And there's the Twitch one. Looks like it's going. Jolie's over there. I'm just going to say hi like that. And so there's that. So we got Twitch, Facebook, and the YouTubes all running. Whoops. What have I done? So that was the Twitch. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm just looking at this stuff here real quick. Okay, looks like everything's good. Everything's running. And we got that. We got all messages. Okay. So anyhow, yeah, pretty intense. It looks like on my iPhone, I can see the Twitch post, and it's basically me saying hi twice. I don't know why I double did it. I don't know why. Mish says, I imagine many are getting some grub. Okay, so yeah, look, we know war sucks. War is hell. It's awful. It's an awful situation. I can understand the pressure being put on Biden by pro-Palestinian groups and things of this nature. I get all that. It is very, very bad optics, and that sounds kind of cold-blooded because I know it's not just optics. These are people. People are being killed. Babies, children, women, everything. Civilians are being killed. But it's not an easy situation the way these wars are fought. It's the way in which Hamas, conducts themselves. They do embed themselves in with the civilians. They use civilians as shields, human shields. So I was thinking today during this conversation, like, what if Israel did just stop? They just did a ceasefire on their side. What would happen? What would go on? Is Hamas, at least the military side of it, are they crippled enough? I don't know, and I don't know. In other words, if Israel stopped all of their bombing and all of their whatever ground offensive they have, what would happen? What would Hamas do? Would they be able to regroup, replenish their numbers, replenish, of course, their whatever weapons they can get, and whatever they can build? They build these missile launchers or whatever out of the sewer pipes, apparently. So would that happen? I mean, I don't know where we're at. Where are we at as far as Hamas's abilities to regroup and keep fighting, keep attacking Israel? So I think that's what they're trying to make Hamas, at least the military function of it, they're trying to make them non-existent. The Hamas part of it, not the Palestinians. So
so that's where we're. I guess that's where we're at. I guess that's where it's at. If they're gonna, if one side stops and the other side doesn't, then why would the other side stop? You know what I mean? Why would you stop? You know, especially since Israel does have the upper hand. It's not like, if we want to use it like I guess an analogy of say like two guys fighting, and if one guy's getting the shit beat out of him and then he quits, it's like fight's over. But let's say the guy who is winning the fight stops, then the other side can go, oh, this is opportunity for me to punch this guy in the face because he stopped. You know what I mean? So I think that if Israel's going to stop, they have to have assurance that Hamas is going to stop. You know, do you see the problem? Do you see the sort of is that a dichotomy? You know, why would Israel stop? It's like if I was beating the shit out of a guy, and then if I stopped and I thought he was going to immediately start beating the shit out of me, then why would I stop? You see what I mean? I would have to, if I'm going to stop fighting someone physically, I better have a pretty good idea that that person is done. You know what I mean? They're either done fighting, they've just been beaten so bad they give up. You know, they're not going to come back at me. In other words, I think that's what's going on here with Israel. If they stop, what's their incentive to stop if Hamas is just going to keep coming back at them? Okay, Big Hook says, liberty is freedom from hate, freedom to think or read anything, freedom to vote, freedom to speak and disagree. So what the fuck is Moms for Liberty, hypocrisy, and bisexual threesomes? What the fuck, GQP? Yeah, there's just a lot of bullshit, a lot of course, double standards and hypocrisy. And it just shows that groups like that, and even I think the Republican Party as a whole, they're not serious really about anything. All they want is power. It's just all about power, and they'll do whatever they have to do. They'll say whatever they have to say. They'll push as many buttons as they have to push. I'm talking about like emotional buttons, you know, with these kind of faux controversies and everything. They'll do all that kind of shit, and it's all about power. They just want the power, you know. They really don't. And I'm talking, of course, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but, you know, we're talking about the Republican Party, I think, in general terms. They don't really give a shit about doing anything good for the country, doing anything good for the people here. All they want to do is cause controversy, or they want to put out propaganda, or they want to put out false narratives, and they want to lie about the Democrats. Whatever they think is going to get them votes and get them elected, that's what they will do. And they don't really give a shit about you or me or, you know, the middle class, working class, the poor. They really don't give a shit. So whatever they do, it's about gaining power, gaining votes. So then that's why they have the hypocrisy. You've got these people, like you say, having threesomes and stuff, and which I got no problem with people having threesomes as long as it's all consensual, right? But you know, they're the ones that lead these groups that are like against anything like that. You know, they will rail against, you know, same-sex couples, same-sex sex, same, of course, threesomes, maybe even out of wedlock sex, whatever. They will get on their high horse and they will come out against all these type of things. But then behind the scenes, they're having threesomes, they're having same-sex sex, whatever, you know. And so it's that hypocrisy that shows really what they're all about. They're just about trying to get power. They don't really give a shit about anything that they're saying. It's all poppycock. Poppycock. Rose Blake's here. Rose says, Julia, what happened to my little star? I don't know. Stephanie B2's here. Thanks for being here. Mish is here. Rose Blake. Mish says, Big Hook Moms for Liberty is horrible. Darkly Yours. Hi, guys. What's up today? Hey, Darkly Yours. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming by. People are starting to come in. I think people are sort of, trying to decide to do I really want to be on for another couple more hours after that marathon over there with Hal. Let's see. Rosebank says those moms of liberty are freaky. The freaky. They got the freak on. Mish says they are all about yucking other yums. Mish says, but secretly doing the same things they criticize. I don't know how many of you guys watched the Handmaid's Tale show. And this is, I guess, slight spoilers. So, but I mean, I'm just sort of generally speaking about some of the things that they did. If you don't know about the show, I guess it's about this faction that actually breaks away or from the United States or is able to cause almost like a civil war, right? And they where they're actually make their own country of Gilead, and it's so you've got this new country within the country, and so they have this is just really dystopian where, and apparently there's some sort of plague or something going on or something where there's a lot of infertility going on. I guess that's also part of the story, right? And so that's why when they this religious kind of cult or religious right wing thinks it's like I think they think it's like a punishment or a sign from God or something that we're not living for God or whatever, we're not living a godly life, we're just evil and corrupt or whatever. So they they twist religion around and Christianity around or whatever to force women. They break the women up who they find are fertile, and they become these handmaids. And where the commander, they have these commanders, they have their wife who is infertile. They get to bring in a handmaid, and then I think it's like once a month or whatever they have this big ceremony, and where the guy gets to fuck her, trying to get her pregnant because that's their subtext or whatever it is, their rationale or for acting this way is that there's this big infertility thing and we're not reproducing and we need to keep the population going so we can act in this way and which by anyone else would go, you guys are fucking nuts. What are you, crazy? You can't force women to be to be your mate. They're like your maid and your the whole thing, and also be your little, just to use them to reproduce or whatever. It's so absurd. But and then those commanders and they all do this under the pretense of godliness. It's all in his eye or whatever it is. But then you see that the commanders, they've set up these like brothels basically where they go and it's all very hush hush, but enough people know about it. And they go and they just go and they fuck, all these, I guess they bring in like the hottest handmaids or whatever. And so that's just another show of how, and I think you can put that into the real life of just how phony so many of these Republicans are and these right-wing groups, these right-wing Christian groups. They're just so fucking phony. They just use religion to try to get votes, to pander to certain segments of our society. But the reality is they don't give a shit about religion. They don't give a fucking rat's ass about morality. They're just using that as a pandering device Because then they're going off and they're having their orgies and their threesomes and hooking up with same-sex persons or whatever. You know, so that's, you know, a good illustration. The Handmaid's Tale is a good illustration of what's really going on in real life. Hey, look at here. Mish gifted 5 Trucker John memberships. Thanks, Mish. That is so awesome of you. So we got those going. Thank you so much. Big Hook says they go after the LGBTQ community unrelentingly. No harm to anyone. Their imagination with no evidence of wrongdoing is too obvious. These people are alone. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, these religious right-wing groups, they go after LGBTQ communities unrelentingly. I guess you mean even though LGBTQ does no harm to anyone, but leave these people alone. So yeah, but they use them as a cudgel. I think someone used that word today. Seyha says, Trucker John, doing a drive-by shooting of your like button, exhausted after surgery yesterday and trying to make it through Hal. Well, thanks, Seyha. Thanks for whatever time you can spend here. I appreciate you. Thanks for that like. And you get some rest. You had surgery and everything, so I hope you're doing better and just rest and recuperate. So the word you're struggling for is surrogate. Well, yeah. They're using them as surrogates, but you know, they could have done it. They could have done the IVF. They didn't have to actually fuck them. So that's the thing. These guys are like, we gotta do it this way, man. I don't know what to tell you, honey. You know, he's talking to his wife. This is the way we got to do it. We got to do it the old-fashioned way, the old biblical way. We can't use IVF. And another thing I was thinking, like, okay, look, this whole thing, the whole Handmaid's Tale, it's like to me, it's like a cautionary tale, right? And it's also we're actually seeing a lot of it kind of play out in real life, in real time. But you know what? You know what they could have done? Let's say, whether it was Gilead or even like whatever's left of the United States or any other of these countries, because in the show they have representatives from other countries, because this infertility problem is like a global issue, and they had other people, and Gilead was showing, hey, look, we're reproducing, we've got a great birth rate going here, and they had representatives from other countries who would come in and were observing them, and they were actually going, maybe we should do this too. Okay, so I'm thinking, don't be so fucking stupid. Here's what you do. Instead of having this iron fist, this authoritarian, you know, dictatorial type of government like Gilead, what you do is you incentivize the fertile women. You treat them like a queen. You give them their own house. You give them $100,000 a year salary. I don't know. And you say, hey, look, if you meet the requirements and you want to be a surrogate, be a breeding mare or whatever for us, and we're going to do it all artificial insemination. We're not going to have you get raped every month or whatever it is. And we'll set you up in a beautiful, we'll give you the commander's mansions. Those mansions were beautiful, right? We'll put you in the commander mansion, but you're not going to be, you know, that's your house. And we're going to give you like $100,000 a year or whatever. And, you know, and we'll have this contract with you, and you can pump out babies until you can't do it no more. You know, maybe we'll give you like $1 million a kid or something. I don't know. That's how you solve the fucking problem. You don't set up this fucking authoritarian dictatorship, you know, where you force women to be your sex slaves. That's not going to end well. Like they say, I think someone said authoritarianism never ends well or whatever. You do it my way, I think you'd have a thriving fucking thing going on. Anyhow, that's just the Trucker John way. Let's see. So we got Big Hook says, Moms for Liberty for anybody confused. Mish says, the handmaids were taken away from their own families as well. They are slaves. Right, exactly. Yeah, they're ripped out from their families. Well, it's just fictional. But the thing is that I guess the overall point I was trying to make is how that they can preach all this thing about morality, all they want, and godliness and all this kind of crap, but they go sneak off and they go fuck around. They go to Epstein's Island, or they go to the commander's brothels, and in real life they go to these they have orgies and threesomes, and they got all this stuff set up all behind the scenes. And like I say, if I'm not, hey, not going to yuck your yum. If whatever it is, man, if it's consensual and you're into orgies and threesomes and all that kind of stuff, more power to you. But don't come out and try to present this big false image that you're against all those things, and because people are doing that we're being punished by God. You know, it's just bullshit. It's just total bullshit. Jolie says Republicans want all that unlimited power over women, their lives and bodies. Yes, they want to. Some of them have come out and said, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. They want to take us back to pre-women voting and probably pre-slavery, days. Rose Blake Howell was taking it easy on Brian. Alvin Stoops here. Hello, Trucker John and all. Hello, Alvin. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Me says, yes, it is fictional, but doesn't seem as far-fetched these days. I know. I mean, I remember watching the show and going, oh my God, this is what's happening right now. I mean, there's so many things. And this was written, 10 or 20 years ago? Or maybe longer. I don't know when What's-Her-Face wrote it. The author of the books, she wrote this a while ago. I think like 20 years ago. But you're watching it, you're going, this is all playing out. I mean, I could see how just think of January 6th. Because in Handmaid's Tale, it's kind of like a January 6th situation where they sort of do this coup, right? They kind of don't really show it, and you can see the lead up to it where one of a gay college professor got hanged in the streets, right? And you kind of see these groups, these kind of very MAGA type groups, protesting and then it went from there into violence. And then you saw this through the legislative part of it. It was kind of like a coup went on. They don't really show it too well, but I think they could have done a better job of that, actually, of showing that part of it. They sort of just jumped from that into the Handmaid's Tale part of it, But yeah, it was. You're watching the show going, oh my God, I can see how this could have happened. Like, just think of January 6th. If they had just been a little bit smarter, run by a little bit smarter people and just a little more organized or whatever, if they had gotten into to Pence and hanged him, and had just started, I don't know, slaughtering Congress people, they could have just taken. I think they could have just taken over, right then and there. I mean, or at least a big chunk of it, because that's kind of how Gilead it was. They didn't get all of the United States. I don't even know how much they got, but they've got big chunks of the United States, and then they're like in a war. They don't. That's another thing. They don't really show the war, but they talk about the war a lot. Between the United States and what becomes Gilead. But Mish says the book was released in 1985. Wow, I didn't know it was that old. That's like almost 40 years ago. That's 29 years ago. Wow. I thought it was newer than that, but that's amazing that she wrote that in 85. And when you watch it today, it almost seems like you're just watching what's actually happening in real life. Zunny is here. That is during Reagan term. Yes, it was. Very good. So yeah, and I guess I could see how things were going, during the Reagan administration, and how that might influence, What's-Her-Face, who wrote the book. Big Hook says acknowledging the problem and clearly defining it are the only way towards a solution. That is how Brian discussion was. I thought it was a good discussion. I thought they had a pretty good discussion going. The problem I have with like Brian and others. Now I think Brian, I think he makes his point pretty well, and he's pretty. He can back up what he says, but I think the problem with using terms like genocide, or whatever, I don't think we know really enough about all this stuff that's really happening to really kind of dig in. You know what I mean? I mean, like Hal mentioned, I didn't even know anything about there being a guy with a machine gun on the car, the vehicle of the World Central Kitchen workers, and that he was firing, I guess, up at the helicopters or whatever. That was never reported. So, I mean, and I don't think, hopefully Hal was right. I mean, I haven't cross-checked or anything that he was saying yet. But I haven't really known how to say stuff that turns out to be, true or whatever. And so all I heard was Andres, whatever, the guy, the chef, Andres, talking about it, that parts of that interview he did, where they were talking about how the aid workers, the first truck was being hit, they got out, they went to the second one, then that was being fired on, they got out, and I guess they went to a third one, and that was being fired on, and then they all got killed. That's all I heard. I didn't hear anything about somebody having a gun on those vehicles, on one of those vehicles that was firing, I guess, up in the thing. I never heard that until today, until Hal said that. So that kind of changes things, I think. I think that kind of changes the whole thing. Now, whether it's actually true or not, I mean, I guess we can dig into that and find out. Like I said, I haven't really known how to say untrue things. So whether or not Israel was right to fire on them and to keep fire on them and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. But it does change it from being, hey, they were in these cars and they were marked World Central Kitchen, and Israel just fired on them because they didn't want the food to be brought in. It changes from that to like, oh, there was a dude with a machine gun and he was firing on them, and so IDF returned fire, and and maybe they broke the rules of engagement. I don't even know what the rules of engagement are by keep firing on each of those vehicles. I don't know, but it does change it from just being, oh, we just want to do that because blah blah, to being, hey, they were being fired on and then they responded, and then maybe so I guess what I'm saying is we have to be careful what we say, or I guess how much we're willing to defend even Israel, or how much we're willing to defend Hamas in a way, or whatever it is we're defending. I think we have to be careful because there is a lot of information that isn't out there, or only certain parts of the information is getting out there. So be careful of that. Mish says, that's what scares me for next January. They would be more prepared next time. Keeps me up at night. Well, it doesn't keep me up at night because I'm just stupid. I have a tendency to just not let stuff bother me I think it's just out of ignorance, But like, if you're really like Mish, you're probably really following the stories, and yeah, it can get scary, and it could get to be very worrisome. But I think also the difference between next January and the January 6th, 2000, I guess it was, is that Biden, it's the Biden administration. It's not the Trump administration. The Trump administration, they are the ones that told, like, the police camp the DC police or whatever, like no riot gear, only have, they had reduced numbers. They're the ones that said, to, I guess, National Guard or whatever, not to get ready for anything, or it was they totally stripped it down. I think with a Biden administration, you're going to see a much heavier readiness. So I think that should help a lot. Whatever they try to do, I think will be minimal. And unfortunately, some people might get killed still. Innocent people might get killed. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to lead to like anything like an overthrow, or I don't think they're going to take the Capitol again, anything like that. Because, like I said, we're going to have a Biden administration that's going to make sure that we are ready for anything that might pop up. And that's the difference. That's a huge difference between having Trump in there, who was deliberately sort of defanging whatever police and security efforts that we could do. He was doing everything he could to strip that down, and whereas we're going to have Biden in there, and he's not going to let that happen. So, he's not going to let security and police be down. He's going to give them all the gear they need, and all the intelligence, everything they need. So. Hey, there's Nick Rich. Nick Rich is here. Sexy Libs are opinionated. Yes, they are. He says they were discussing genocide and ethnic cleansing. Yeah, they were. Rosebeck, Howell was really nice to Brian. Howell is right 99% of the time. Some say 100% of the time. I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's even high 99. Right. He's not right 99. I think he might only be right 90% of the time or 80% of the time. I don't know, but I think he's right most of the time. Ask says I'm back. Hi, Ask. I'm glad you're back. Big Hook says the question is, can you trust everything you see on Telegram as well? The disinformation war is brutal. I know. You got to take everything, I guess, with a grain of salt. And you got to kind of consider the sources, and you try to get at least 3 reliable sources to cross-check things. Especially if you're going to like really dig in on the issue and really say, yeah, okay, this is what I believe. This is. And this side's wrong and that side's right. And if you're really going to make these kind of like really hardcore stances on it, then you better make sure you're getting some really good intel. Ass says, how was tripping me around? Rosebeck asked, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? I don't know what that means. Twilight 83 is here. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hello, Twilight 83. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. People are kind of straggling in, I think, so that's good. We got 22 watching, 27 thumbs up, so let's make sure you hit that thumb button. Like, subscribe, and share. And let's make this a big show, a really big show. I might actually do another walking video, or a separate live stream today, walking down the street. I've been wanting to do this walk for a few days now, it seems like, because I walked, was it Wednesday? We did a walk. And then I was going to do another one yesterday, a further walk. And then I got busy doing stuff around town, taking care of some business. And then it just got too late. And I was like, well, I'll just do it today. So maybe I can do it today. So I might do 2 live streams today. Because I would do that as a separate live stream from whatever this is to that. Maybe we'll go a little short on this one so I can do the other one. I don't know. Ass says, how's feed kept falling and I came early here. I got lost. Oh, well, I hope you're not lost now. You're here. There's the old Trucker John live stream. Thanks for being here. Yeah, his stream kept crashing. and then you just have to kind of wait a few minutes for the new one to come up. You know, you just refresh your YouTube page and wait for the new one. Rose Blake says, yes, Andrea said it was YouTube glitches. Blame it on YouTube. 56 Nick Rich says facts matters, get them right. Yes, it does matter. Jolie says the more Trucker John, the better. There you go. I like that sentiment. There's my little thing in the background today, a little logo type of thing. TJL, Trucker John live stream. So don't you dare forget. Hey, we got up to 30 thumbs ups. Thanks so much. But yeah, so this thing, this Israel Gaza or Israel Hamas, really, I guess, war is really horrible. And it is horrible. War is horrible. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. But having said that, I don't think that you can blame a country for defending itself. You know what I mean? And this is not conventional, so I don't know. It's just really weird. Nick Rich says, gotta go in about 10 minutes. A later stream would be cool. I think that might be cool. Okay, Nick Rich. Well, hey, thanks for being here. Always appreciate old Nick Rich in there, and thanks for coming in. Yeah, we'll do another one. I'll probably do another one after this of me walking off strip. It'll be off strip, and we'll go from there on that. Rose says, John does keep us calm. Well, thank you. That's nice of you, Rose. And let's see, we got Mish says, agreed, Rose. Good place to chill. We'd be chilling. Let's just chill. Now I want some chill, as in chili, with lots of cheese on it. Rose Blake, Nick, I was wondering where your clock was. Clock is ticking. Nick Chris says, a few filters before I go, perhaps. Oh, well, I will accommodate you, good sir, with your favorite. Yes, I know this is your favorite. You love it when I put on the pink. Or pink. It's not pink. You love the purple. Paul the purple beard guy. I can't even say it. I can't even say it myself. So this one's for you, Nick. Going out to you. Got a little purple beard action. Purple beard, purple beard. Oh, yeah. I don't know what gets into me. I don't know. I just don't know. But I got me a purple beard, and this one goes out to you, Nick. Yeah. Play all the hits. Play all the hits here. I would wear this beard around town if I could, yeah. Be like, hey, I'm the purple beard. I can't even talk, but believe me, I am the purple beard guy. Purple beard guy coming at you live. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, I like my purple beard. I like my little mustache. Looking good, nice and sparkly. A little sparkly, sparkly chuckler, fifth wheelers. I'm rambling. See what you've done, Nick Rich? You've made me a rambling man. I'm a rambling man now. Let's see here. We got Twilight 83. Nice to see you. Says, when does the wrecking ball hit the Tropicana start? Well, it has been reported several times. I've seen reports that they're not planning on doing demolition until October. So they got a long way to go. And there was always a question as to whether or not they were going to do an implosion as opposed to just like a wrecking ball and sort of taking it down, you know, I don't know, with a wrecking ball and with, you know, like that way. They like the implosions are when they set up, you know, they go in and they put actual, you know, explosives in there at key areas inside the building, and then they detonate it, and then the building comes down. And people like that because people are weird, and I'm one of them, I guess. Who doesn't like a good implosion? People they like to watch the building collapse. I mean, I think it's kind of weird, but I have to say I'm in that category. I mean, it's like watching a car wreck or a train wreck or whatever. You know, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but still, you can't take your eyes off of it. So yeah, and there was questions of whether or not they could do it because maybe it was too close to the airport, or it was this or that or the other. But now they're reporting that they think they are going to do an implosion, and I think it's still set for October. That's the Tropicana Hotel we're talking about, in case anyone didn't catch that. The Tropicana Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, which was opened in 1957, and was really kind of an iconic place, and it was in its heyday a very, very nice place. I stayed there a few times, including a suite one time. I've told the story before, I don't know, I keep telling it, but basically it was an upgrade, like a free upgrade, because there were no other rooms available, and they said, hey, we can give you a suite for this regular price of the regular room rate. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll take it. And it was like this beautiful, most beautiful room I've ever had, and it was for like, I think $40 or something. But then I've also stayed there in just the regular rooms, and it was a very nice place, especially back in the 80s and 90s. But then it was scheduled to be torn down anyhow. This has been in the works or planned for at least well over a year. I think a couple of years now, where they were scheduled to, because I guess Bally's bought it or somebody bought it, and I guess they wanted to tear it down, and they were thinking about just making a whole new hotel resort there, just starting from scratch, just tearing down the old Trop and just making a whole new one. Then, in the interim, the Oakland A's said, "Hey, we would like to build a stadium there." So then it changed from being just a new hotel going on there to a baseball stadium, a Major League Baseball stadium. Plus, they still want to stick a hotel in there on that same property. So I don't know. So that's what's going on. But one thing for sure is that building's coming down. The Trop is coming down. Whether or not the stadium gets built there, what type of hotel or whatever, and something's going to go on that property. I mean, it's on the corner, it's on the intersection of Tropicana Avenue and the Las Vegas Strip, where one corner is the MGM Grand, the other corner is New York, the other corner is Excalibur. So that corner something's going to be there. It's not going to stay empty. They're going to put either the stadium or hotel or both. And so by all reports, the actual demolition of bringing the building down, I mean, I'm sure they're starting right now. Emptying. I heard they're going to have liquidation company go in, and people can go in and buy furniture and stuff. I would like to check that out, but the thing is, I don't really have any money, but I wouldn't mind buying a couch or something from there. But anyhow, they're liquidating a lot of stuff. That's what I guess that's what's going on between now and October. You know, they're getting rid of all that furniture, and then they're going to be stripping things out, and probably going to be stripping out. If someone had mentioned asbestos, I think it was Wes one time, maybe they have to go through, make sure there's no asbestos. They can't just maybe implode it and have all this asbestos kind of fly out into the air. Maybe they have to do removal programs for that or process. Maybe they have to strip. Maybe they want to strip out wiring. Maybe copper pipes. Maybe they're doing all that kind of shit, getting it ready for the implosion or whatever way that they're going to knock it down. There's probably a lot of prep work involved with that. There's a lot of other, besides those towers, they have two huge towers, but they also have like bungalows, they have lower rooms. They might start tearing those out using wrecking balls and using, big equipment to maybe clear out all those, the lower buildings. The pool area, they're probably going to like fill that in maybe with concrete or dirt. There's a lot of stuff to do besides those two towers, because it is two towers, and that would be interesting to see too, if they're going to implode them both at the same time, and you'll see them both go down. It's almost very eerie of thinking about 9/11 or something, right? But there's a lot of stuff going on. So October seems like a long time away, but that's probably how long it's going to take to do all this other work first. This prep work and clearing out the way of all those other lower buildings, the parking structure, all that. They're probably going to take all that out, start taking all that out first. And then those 2 towers, like I said, are going to strip them out of whatever they need to strip out. And that's all going to take time. And the next thing you know, it's going to be October, and they're going to probably, put the munitions in there and bring it down. So anyhow, that's what's going on with the trop. Thanks for asking the question. In case you didn't know about the trop. And I still have my purple beard, so I might do the rest of this live stream with a purple beard. I guess Mr. Spock is here, so live long and prosper. I'm trying to get that straight. Nick Rich, I guess, is taken off. Well, hopefully we'll see you later on this afternoon, Nick. So have a good day. Thanks for being here, by the way. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff on the way out. Nick Rich says, popping the air brake, leaving the truck stop, 10-7. Good buddy. Nick Rich is 10-7. And if Nick is leaving, maybe I should turn this off. I don't know. It is a vast improvement. But I just want to say to everybody, I just want to say thank you all very much. It's a delay. It's a little bit of a delay here for some reason. There we go. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And for some reason, Siri says, I'm not sure I understand. Which is probably what a lot of you are saying right now. Mr. Spock says, I went to a liquidator sale once, all night happy hour. Mish is saying, I don't know, is that soup sandwich and coffee? I don't know. Mr. Spock, correction a few times. Asked, thanks for your answer. Well, you are welcome. I hope that answered that. Donna O's here. Hello, Donna O. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. David Windler is in the chat. It says, hi, John. Well, hi back at you, David. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by as we're chilling. Kind of chilling out here a little bit. Just chilling, shooting the shit, talk about all things here. So, but yeah, we're just going to kind of unwind a little bit. And a little bit later, I'll be doing a walk if you want to join me for my walk. Well, undoubtedly, we will see some homeless people. And we will see lots of cars buzzing by. We might see a MAGA or MUGA graffiti. We might see that again. Let's see. We'll probably see. And there's I'll be walking towards the strip, and we will actually see some of the casinos of the strip. But we are not going to go on the strip today. Not today. And then after today's walk, I'll resume my attempt at the 10,000 steps a day for 30 days along the Las Vegas Strip. I think we'll restart that on Monday. That will be day 2. I'm still counting the other day as day 1, no matter that they're like a week apart. And this 30 days, it might get dragged out into 120 days. I don't know. When I first started, I thought I was going to knock them out. I'll start on April 1st and be done by the 30th. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So David's in there saying hi to everybody. Mish and David. Everyone's just saying hi. Hello, hello, hello. So what else is going on in the world? We got lots of stuff going on. On my little title card there, my show card, I have I've got this on there. Let's see. We got that there. And you can see all of the great jobs that have been created under the Biden administration. 303,000 new jobs in March, and that brings up to 15.2 million jobs added since Joe Biden took office. And you can see the numbers down there for Trump. And they were barely, before they went to the negative, they were just shitty numbers. And then they lost a whole gajillion of them under Trump. And, you know, I remember seeing the same thing with W. You know, I remember seeing, I think by the time we went through Reagan and the first Bush, I think unemployment was pretty high. And we saw Clinton came in and we had a great, created a lot of jobs under Clinton. We saw a lot of jobs when Obama took office. How under the W administration, the United States we were just hemorrhaging jobs. And then Obama was able to turn that around and create jobs. And now look at what Biden is doing. I mean, it's phenomenal what Joe Biden is doing with our economy, with our jobs, with our wages, with inflation, everything. I mean, it's a real, bottom-up approach. It's not top-down. It's not supply side. It's investing in America, investing in the working class, and it shows that it works. Joe Biden has given a blueprint to whoever comes after him, whether it's Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or whoever it's going to be. Just do what Joe is doing. Okay? Don't fuck around. Just fucking do what Joe's doing. And the American people, stop electing goddamn Republicans. And I'm not talking about, Wes is going to say in Illinois that the Democrats are corrupt and all that kind of bullshit. I don't give a fuck about Illinois as far as the local politics. I'm talking about national politics mainly. I'm talking about when you vote for president and you vote for U.S. Congress people, stop voting for Republicans, because we can see on a national level, just since Reagan, how when Republicans have the White House, especially, and whatever control they can get of the Congress, jobs go to shit. Unemployment is high, wages are stagnant, and when we get Democrats in there, fucking jobs galore. Wages go up, unemployment is low. It happens time and time and time again. We've seen it from Clinton to Obama and now to Biden. We've seen it. That's 3 times now. We've seen within my lifetime and with most of you guys in your lifetimes. Now we've seen it. 3 Democratic administrations in a row have had to come in, clean up after the Republicans, especially W and Trump, crashing the economies. I mean, with W, we were a pubic hair away from going into a Great Depression. We had a Great Recession going on, and everything was almost ready to collapse. Where it was almost 1929 all over again, or whatever Black Tuesday was, right? And we were able to avert that. We got Obama in there, and turned things. People were griping that it wasn't fast enough. Democrats, you motherfuckers, and I'm one of them, so I'm talking to myself too. But I don't include myself in this group as far as never being satisfied, or expecting a magic wand to be waved and everything to be fixed in one day. And so people will complain about Obama that he didn't turn the economy around fast enough. Well, fuck you. He turned the economy around and did a great job. His administration did a great job of getting us out of this Great Recession that was caused under Bush. And then we see it again now with Biden. Turns things around and did it in a much faster way, because you know what? He was a part of the Obama administration. He was the vice president. I think he learned a great, great lesson. And all of his experience in the Senate, he's got a lot of wisdom. And I think maybe listening to people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, he listens to people, and he's not afraid to listen and to take ideas and to, and he's learned from FDR going all the way back there. I mean, so Biden has done a really, really great job, and we've seen this now 3 times in a row. Democratic administrations cleaning up the mess of the Republicans, turning us around, and I think Biden will get a second term, but then what? And we're going to see 4 more years of probably great economies, strong economies in the United States. And then what's going to happen in 2028? The American people are going to get complacent, or they're going to believe some bullshit, right-wing bullshit, and they're either not going to show up, or people that would normally vote for Democrats are going to vote for some fucking Republican asshole, and then just have us go right back into getting driven into the ditch again. And then we're going to have to either 4 years or 8 years after that. You know, I mean, we got to stop this back and forth bullshit. And we really, really need to stop electing Republicans because they're not good for us. They're not good for the country. The only thing that they're good for is rich people. You know, really, really rich people. And a lot of times Wes will come in here, what's a rich person? I know he just tries to stimulate, I think, conversation or whatever. And I'm just talking about, you know, the multimillionaires, the billionaires, and maybe by then we'll have trillionaires. They're saying Elon Musk and Bezos might be the first trillionaires. And that's right around the corner. So that's really all that the Republican Party is about. Is about, you know, benefiting them. And I really do believe that the Democratic Party, and especially when we have leaders like Biden, they are for the middle class and the working class people. They really, really are. And that's important. And because I'm a working class dude, so. And it works. I mean, we see we got it right here. We see how this stuff works. But people get complacent and they don't vote or whatever. We got to stop doing that. Let's get, you know, like Hal says, let's get the next 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever voting cycles where it's all Democrats or Democrats win the majorities. You know, and then we can have that incrementalism that Hal talks about. I don't mind incrementalism. I just don't like the taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back all the time, which is, I think, feels like that's what we've been doing for the last 40 years, which really is just going backwards. You're not going forward. You're not making progress. You're not really making, you think you're making progress because you make a step forward, but then the Republicans get in office and you take 2 steps back. Then we get a Democrat, we take a step forward, we're just getting things going, and then we get Republicans and we take 2 steps back and then we're even further back. We can't keep doing that. And unless you like Republican politics and you like going backwards, but most of us don't like that, so we got to stop doing it. So vote blue if you know what's good for you. I guess is the shorthand for that. Greg Giles is here. Thanks for being here. Stock market is all in motion now. Tawada 106 is here. Good to see Tawada 106. Well, Reagan was as good a president as he was an actor. There you go. And he was a shitty actor. Lala Caravio, Biden kicking MAGA ass. Hey, Lalo, thanks for being here. Not sure if I've ever seen you before, so thank you so much for being here in the chat. And yes, I agree. Biden is kicking MAGA ass. Mr. Spock says, I asked ChatGPT to create a global doctrine based on socialism. Bam, out it pops. Needing revisions, but a logical start. Probably needing revisions, but a logical start. Ask says Reagan's presidential campaign had conspired with Iran. Yes, that's the Iran-Contra deal. To delay the release until after the 1980 United States presidential election to thwart Carter from pulling off an October surprise. And then in 1992, I don't know what that was about. But there's Walter Makarovich. Hi, Julie, and good afternoon to you. Good to see Walter in the chat. Thanks for coming by. Lala Curvo, that's What's a MAGA? What's a MAGA you? What's a MAGA me? Rose Bacon, exactly. Big Hook. Republicans are the very definition of insanity. Trickle down doesn't work. It does work if you're a multimillionaire or a billionaire. I guess it works for them. Mr. Spock says Bonzo was a better actor. Bedtime for Bonzo. But anyhow, my point is, if we can vote, in these huge numbers to get Clinton elected, to get Obama elected, to get Biden elected, then why can't we sustain that? Why is it after usually 2 terms that, Clinton, Obama both got 2 terms. I think Biden's going to get a 2nd term. Why is it then after that, I guess people think, oh, well, it's hunky-dory. My work is done here. No, it's not done. Your work is never done. And it's not really that hard to fucking vote. It really isn't. I mean, I know there's a lot of obstructionism, or there's a lot of Republican, shenanigans. Bring your broom. As far as shutting down places to vote and only having one precinct in areas that should have dozens, probably. And I know they're doing their level best to obstruct and restrict voting. So yeah, I mean, I guess it can be difficult. But, you just got to make sure you just keep checking your register, make sure you're registered, and just do it, man. I mean, just get it in there. Get your vote in, man. That's important. It really is important. And I know we've had people in the past that have come in here and say, I'm not going to vote. And they have all these reasons why they think it's stupid. Well, okay, whatever. I mean, it's a free country. You can think whatever you want. But I'm kind of appealing to the people who say they want to vote, or who act like they care about issues, but then for whatever reason they don't vote. And they're like, I just, didn't have time. Especially if you live in a state that has mail-in voting, you really have no excuse, I don't think, right? And if you have early voting where you can just mail it in, now there are red states, or of course they don't want mail-in voting, and like I say, there's no early voting, and so you got to vote on the day, and those might be places where you might have to wait in line. But if you don't like that type of treatment, it's not going to stop by not voting. If you don't like if you're like in a red area, a red state, and you don't like how they're really obstructing voting or whatever, staying at home isn't going to help. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, like, staying at home and not voting is not going to help the situation. So, you know what I mean? Otherwise, then it becomes that kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. So do whatever you can. Make sure you vote. That's so important. I think it's so important. And I know, like I said, we've had people in here before say it's not important or whatever, and give all these excuses, but then you're entitled to your opinion. But I really think it's important. So make sure you vote. And when you do vote, you know what I'm going to say? Vote blue if you know what's good for you. Because unless you're a billionaire or a multimillionaire, voting for Republicans isn't going to be good for you. But then, I'm trying to think of, from people that in my family, friends and old schoolmates that I know and family members that I know, why do they vote Republican? And it's because, and I'm trying to articulate this, it's because they believe the bullshit or whatever. I mean, it usually comes down to it does come down to guns a lot. It comes down to this, they have the way they see things is that the Democrats want to take away their rights, want to take away their freedoms, which basically is guns, and they see gay rights and same-sex marriage rights as somehow is taking away their freedom of religion, even though you can still have your religion. Just because a same-sex couple wants to get married, how does that infringe on your beliefs? I mean, let them have their beliefs so you can have your beliefs. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I'm trying to think of, I'm on the spot here. Think of, why does, like, say for instance, my brother and sister. Let's just put it this way: they are right wingers, okay. And if they ever watch this live stream, I hope they don't think I'm just talking behind their back, because I guess I am kind of. But I'm just trying to bring up an example of someone that I know, and I haven't talked to them really in a long time now, like 8 years, because of Trump. And that's on their part. They're the ones that stopped communicating with me. But anyhow, I'm trying to think, like, why do they vote for Trump? Why do they vote Republican? When we all grew up in the same house, we grew up in the same community, same family background, same, working class. Why are they right wing, and why am I guess, a leftist is what they would call me? And I'm just trying to think, like, okay, what their rationale is, and it's like the Democrats, they think the Democrats are the authoritarians. That's what they think. I think they're going to take away your guns. They're going to, and immigration. That they're going to the Democrats are just going to let all the people from south of the border come in and just, take our jobs and, and just make our neighborhoods all, brown, I guess. I don't know. That's what they think. So, because I'm trying to get the rationale of why do Republicans even win elections, and because they get a lot of people, a lot of just working class people that aren't millionaires and billionaires to vote for them, and because so they create this narrative and they pump it out with the propaganda like on Fox News, and they lap the shit up, man. I guess that's what it is. Mish says it's super important to vote in local and state, and too many focus on the presidential election only. Well, whenever I vote, it seems like usually when it's a presidential election, all the local shit's on there too. I fill out the whole thing. I don't just stop at the presidential one. I mean, or the U.S. Congress. I mean, usually there's state and county and city things on the ballot too. So fill out the whole thing. Jolie says, in 2020 election, my daughters and I had to stand in freezing rain for over an hour to vote. We took umbrellas and blankets. People outside protesting had signs that said, "This is voter suppression." I'm about ready to go and yell out the door and tell those kids to shut up. Can you guys hear them? They're bugging me. Why they're so loud. And there's a playground right over there. They can go over to the playground. Anyhow. What Jolie said, people outside protesting had signs that said, "This is voter suppression." Was it because they had reduced the number of election polling places? I guess. Mr. Spock says, pass a mind your own business law. Okay. Greg Giles says, Rose, Trump does not care about Gaza. It's faux maggot outrage. So what did Rose say? I guess I didn't see that. Rose says, we have a lot of on the left that's bashing Biden because of his Gaza situation, which threatens his reelection. Yeah, we do. We do have that. And maybe it does threaten it. And that's the concern that I have when I hear people talk about, And I think well-meaning people, using the word or the term Holocaust or genocide, and saying that Israel is performing a genocide. Look, you can be upset about the war. You can be upset about the civilians that are being killed, and I'm upset about that. I don't like that. I think that's horrible. But words do matter, and so when you start saying genocide, it kind of changes the whole thing. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. I don't think it is a genocide. Israel might be operating maybe it is overkill or whatever. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know. We need to know more of the facts, I guess. But when you say genocide, it brings in a whole new connotation, and I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's accurate. And I think that Biden does realize that it is harming his campaign to some extent, and also I think he's genuinely, just like all of us, we are genuinely concerned and upset about all the civilian death that's going on there. But also, I think he sees that it is a bad optic for him in his campaign, because we give Israel so much support militarily and monetarily. And I think Biden has been it's been reported, he's been talking to Bibi Netanyahu. I don't know why I just said Bibi. I don't like when people just say Bibi, because it kind of like makes him sound, cute and nice or something. But Netanyahu is a bastard. He's not a good person. Probably deserves to be in jail, just like Trump does. But anyhow, but there are reports, that have come out about Biden having these phone conversations going back to months ago, where he's actually hung up on him because he's been so frustrated. Where Biden is hung up on Netanyahu because he's telling him, look, you got to calm this thing down. You got to be a little bit more careful with how you're handling these operations. You can't have so many of these dead civilians and especially children. You can't have it. We can't have it. You need to work on getting the hostages out. That's what you need to do. And they're not doing that, it seems like. So I think, Joe Biden has kind of gotten on his last nerve there with Netanyahu. And we're probably I think we might see some withdrawals of aid. Because that's really all we have as far as, what we can use for negotiating or whatever. So we might see it. We might see some withdrawals of U.S. help. But, it's so important, though, since Israel has been created after World War II and after the Holocaust and all that, it's been very important that Israel have us as a strong ally, as a supporter, because they're surrounded by enemies that don't even acknowledge their existence or whatever. So that's why, we've always been there for them. We've always shown support, and even whatever monetary and military support we've helped them in and aided them in. And it's gotten to the point where they can make their own weapons, and they could probably do that on their own. But it's come to the point where our support, it shows in no uncertain terms that if, let's say, Iran or whatever, or Jordan or Lebanon or whatever is going to attack Israel, then you're going to have to deal with the U.S. also. The U.S. is going to back Israel, and that has helped. I mean, that's what's kept, I think, Israel from being, completely demolished by these other surrounding nations. So it's a tricky thing. What I'm trying to say is, it's not like these protesters. It's like, oh, just wave the wand, just wave that magic wand, and just stop sending support, stop sending military aid to Israel. Just do it. Just wipe out 80 years or whatever it is, 70 something years of support and aid and trying to establish Israel and keep them safe from attack. And even though they have been attacked, but safe from just being completely overrun. Just throw that all out. Let's just throw that out, just because now there's this thing going on here, and so we're just gonna. No, it takes diplomacy. It takes tactfulness. It takes negotiation, and that's what Biden and Blinken and the whole administration, that people have been working on this. That's what they've been doing in these last few months. They've been working behind the scenes, and they're trying to work things out. So you can't it's not just this magic wand, type of thing. They did that with, people were detracting against Obama because he didn't act fast enough. And now they're doing it against Biden because they think that he can just snap his fingers or whatever and make it so. But there's a lot of things that you got to take into consideration. Walter McCaravich says, I wish the big news outlets would play the hot mic caught at Mar-a-Lago recently. Trump doubled down on the ultra-rich tax cuts while we get left behind. The mainstream media never plays this. Yeah, I think I did see something on YouTube that somebody had covered that. And that just shows what he's all about. Like I was saying, and it doesn't matter if you have Trump in there or if it was a Mitt Romney or, whoever might be the Republican president, let's say. It all comes down to, and no matter what they say about marriage or, gay rights or the environment, all that kind of, whatever it is they talk about or say they're against or for or whatever, it all comes down to the only reason that the GOP really is in existence is to benefit the ultra rich through tax cuts, through deregulation of safety, health and safety, and environmental regulations. That's really what the Republican Party is there for. So take all the other shit, whatever else they say, and just know that it's bullshit. They're really just there to facilitate the uber rich. Mish says, Mr. Spock, I bet that fart spray smells like Trump. Rose Blake says, Greg Giles, believe me, I know Trump doesn't care, but apparently other people don't. There's James Hamriel. Hey, hello. Hi, James. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Mr. Spock says, through all this turmoil globally, the stock markets are booming. It defies past history. Is it AI has managed to capitalize on it and you're not invited? I know the New York Stock Exchange is booming. I don't know about other markets in other countries, but Big Hook. BB has no exit plan. That complicates everything. The Trump dilemma. Yeah, who knows what BB's thinking? BB's just trying to keep himself out of prison, I think. So. And he's another one. Wants to just stay in power so he doesn't get thrown in jail. And that's just what Trump is trying to do, stay in power so he doesn't get thrown in jail. Greg Giles, Israel has nukes. Yeah, they do. This they do. Thanks to us. Mr. Spock, IDF has to weep down, step down and UN peacekeeping force needs to be brought in, would stop the lies on both sides. Well, that's another thing. You're gonna just wave your magic wand, and then IDF's gonna pull out, and UN's gonna go in. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that are maybe that would be better, and maybe at some point it will happen, but it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna just be a snap of the fingers, and Israel just pulls out, and UN goes in. That might be the better way of doing it, but at some point. But it's not going to happen in this instant. You've got to get Netanyahu either out of power somehow, or you've got to get him to somehow be convinced to change his policies. Big Hook says, stroke of a pen fallacy. Yeah, that's what Hal calls it. I call it the waving of the wand fallacy. Because I'm Trucker John and I do things a little bit differently than Hal Sparks. But it's the same thing. And that's what, Hal is chide the word? He chides, like TYT, for all this bullshit of, it's got to be their way or the highway, and criticizing, Obama and now Biden and whoever, because they didn't just come in and like with the stroke of the pen. The president didn't just come in and write these decrees. No, it doesn't work that way. It has to go through Congress. You have to have a Congress, and they have to pass their bills and take it to the president, and the president signs it. It's a whole process. It's not just you just come in and hey. Now they do have executive orders, but that only whatever the executive order is really only applies to the executive branch, or whatever the executive branch can run, and they're temporary. It's not like a law, Mr. Spock says, stop veto power in the UN. Easy solution. Yeah, easy solution, not easy getting to that solution. Mr. Spock, the veto is a bully tactic. Nobody like a bully. Bully. Well, I'm glad that the president has veto power. I'll tell you that much for sure, by golly. Because otherwise, we would have to be accepting a lot of Republican bullshit right now. MAGA says MAGA loves bullies. MAGA is a bully, in a lot of ways. They like to bully people around. They like to act all, get in people's face. And if you've seen some of these clips, like Luke Beasley and what's the guy from Comedy Channel, the big tall guy, and some others, you see these videos of maggots. They're about ready to blow a gasket. It's amazing how they just get so fucking fired up about nonsense, basically. But I mean, god dang, talk about chilling, coming here to chill. I see these people, all these maggots, blowing a cork, and I'm like, fucking chill out, dude. What the fuck? What's your fucking problem, man? I mean, they act like they're ready to just throw down, like, fuck me. Greg Giles, Trump repealed more president executive orders than he made. Yeah, he just got in office and he's like, just undoing everything, but of whatever Obama had. It's like whatever Obama was for, Trump didn't care to look into the issue, and even it was just like, if Obama was for it, I'm against it. Rose Blake says, I will always maintain TYT is a Russian asset. It could be, I don't know, but full disclosure, I used to like TYT. This, like, in the aughts, maybe? Was it the aughts? kind of a ways back now. I mean, I even was a part of that wolf pack thing that they had, because I agreed and still do agree that we need to get big money out of politics. I think that it would be nice, or at least where there's always full disclosure about where the money's coming from, that we don't have this dark money. At least make that where there's full disclosure and it's all visible. And of course that's what, that's why people are so upset about Citizens United, because it allowed all this dark money to come in. And so where is the support coming from? A lot of it could be foreign. We don't want that. We saw that's what happened in 2016 with all this foreign involvement. So I guess there's a couple ways to do it. When you say get big money or get money out of politics, it's where everything becomes publicly financed and everything is, everything is disclosed. There's no dark money. So you do it that way, or you allow money, but everything has to be documented and disclosed. You can't have secret, money coming in where it could be coming in from the Saudis. It could be coming in from the Chinese and the Russians, and we just can't allow that. Or it could be coming from America, but from big, like the Koch brothers or whatever. And if they can only, you have to make it so they can only donate so much. You can't violate the amounts you can donate, and then you have these super PACs that get around it. You can't have these get arounds. That's what we need to have. Campaign finance reform. We seriously need it. And so at the time, I thought the Wolfpack thing was right, and there's probably a lot of things that they're about that are probably still correct or whatever. But then over time, even before I started listening to Hal, I was kind of sick of TYT and during that Hillary campaign, the 2016 campaign. It was the shit they were saying. It was like, what? Wait a minute. You're encouraging people not to vote? What the fuck? So yeah, I don't know if they're Russian assets, but I think they're definitely just money-hungry whores, maybe. Maybe that's one way to put it. Zinke Uygur is a money-hungry whore. There, I said it. Big Hook says, until electoral colleges and filibuster are gone, the dysfunction will continue. God, can you hear that? There's a kid wailing now outside. Take your fucking kid inside, please. Yeah, I think I agree. I think the Electoral College needs to be repealed. It is in the Constitution, so we have to do a constitutional amendment. There is that what do you call it? That compact going around. If that can work as a workaround in the meantime, I'm all for it. I don't like the filibuster, and I know people say, well, what about when the Republicans are in power and you don't have a filibuster? You're going to wish you had a filibuster then. And I'm like saying, yeah, I'll say, yeah, maybe I would, but maybe Democrats should stop losing. Maybe Democrats should give the voters something to vote for. Give them a reason to vote for you and not lose elections. And we'll just deal with that filibuster thing when we have to deal with it. As far as not, if it weren't there. Mr. Spock, I think you meant they're brainwashed. Yeah, there's a lot of brainwashing going on, that's for sure. With all this right-wing propaganda. They have a blowtorch out there. Greg Giles says, corporations do not donate that much to Republicans. Well, you do see a lot of them donating to both sides a lot of times, too. Um, but there are big organizations, the big super PACs, and they get a lot of money in, and they're able to skirt around some of the campaign laws because they use the super PACs. I don't think that's right. Roseblake says, I live in a whole MAGA area. It's all I can do to survive a day. Well, you know, just be careful, because they're crazy. They're cray-cray. Those maggots are cray-cray. Roseblake says, yeah, get big money out of the politics. Well, gee, because we're $10 million. And hey, look, I don't mind if a person is a millionaire, but, you know, don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Ichabod Deer is here. It says, if Trump wins, I might stop my medicine and ... Well, Ichabod Deer, I'm fairly certain Trump's not going to win, but I thought that in 2016 too. But hopefully we've learned a big lesson from that. All of us, including the DNC, including the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, including us voters. Hopefully we've learned a valuable lesson, you know, to not buy into the propaganda, and just learning from Trump's behavior over these last few years. Hopefully enough people have been turned off by his bullshit that people won't vote for him, or they won't stay home. They'll make sure to show up and vote. So I think you'll be okay, but I guess the scary part is we don't know for sure, and so we just have to make sure we remain vigilant. We make sure we're registered to vote. We vote. You know, David Windler. Well, Mr. Spock says 100% Trucker John, the Jink comment. Greg Giles says NRA funneled Russian money. Yes, and mass book buying. The NRA, and you know, and the NRA, they are about ready to go under, I think, aren't they? Didn't they took some big hits because it was brought out. They were been exposed for being basically Russian operatives, and I think the NRA doesn't have the impact that it once did, because I think they're going down. Think about Dear Merrick Garland, 100% failure. I don't think it's 100% failure. I think we can say, yeah, we don't like, maybe I've criticized Garland for being kind of a milquetoast, or at least seemingly so, because that's just his personality, his persona. It seems to be very meek. But people who you know, if you talk about, I don't know, was it Glenn Kirshner or whatever, they'll just say, well, that's just his style, but he's actually very good. So, but yeah, in hindsight, can you say he's maybe look back and seem like maybe he hasn't acted as quickly as we'd like him to do? I don't think he's 100% failure. Ichabod Deer says, 90% of defense and oil company executives are Republicans. Big Hook says a dumb electorate always plays into the Republican strategy. Ichabod Deer says corporations donate far more to the right, GOP, especially energy and defense companies. I think that's true. Mr. Fox says, I got booted on Timothy for warning Jink not to rant so extreme. His BP, also his face was turning Trump orange. And I think that's performative, basically. Jink does that. It's a performative thing, and he knows that it's going to get people riled up. It's going to bring, it's about clicks, and it's about memberships and all that stuff. I think it's all performative bullshit. Ichabod Deer says, Michigan has a lot of people who voted for Biden and might not this time around since Israel. I think when it comes to the general election, that I think most of those people are going to vote for Biden, because I think most of those people know that Trump is not going to be good for them. It's going to be worse for them than Biden. Having Trump in power is going to be worse for Muslims than, because Biden really isn't bad for them at all in America. I mean, you could complain all you want about Gaza, but that's Israel, and we're not Israel. There's really only so much we can do. And as I was talking earlier, I mean, we have a, we can dangle the military and the aid that we give them. We can dangle that as a negotiating thing to tell Netanyahu to knock it off, or to put his efforts more into getting the hostages released if they're still alive, things of this nature. But when it comes to how we treat Muslims overall and in this country, I think most American Muslims will say, yeah, I'd rather have Joe Biden in my corner, because Trump is an absolute fucking nut job. So I don't think it's going to really hurt Biden as much as people want to say that it is. I still think a lot of Muslims in America are going to either vote for Biden or they won't vote at all. Hey, Nick Rich says, short call back in the truck stop. Hey, all right. No, Nick Rich is back. Think about dear Kirshner has not spoken well of Garland. But he hasn't said he's 100% failure either. Greg Giles says, infiltrated by Russian honeybees. Yeah, that was that. What's her name? Maria, whatever her name was. Mr. Spock, it is at Mish. Unnecessary conflict always leads to doom. Nick Rich says, YouTube organic. I guess that's emoji for YouTube. YouTube organic growth is cool. It's cool, man. It's so cool. Nick goes, well, look about dear Michigan relatives are being slaughtered by American weapons in Gaza. And if Trump were in office, Gaza would be flattened by now, probably. If the question, what is the question? I mean, are the Michigan Muslims who have relatives in Gaza, if getting Trump elected, do they think that that's not going to happen anymore? Do they think it's going to get better for them under Trump? If they do, they're sadly mistaken. Let's just put it that way. Because Donald Trump would give Netanyahu carte blanche to do whatever he wants. And if maybe Joe Biden is the only thing that's holding Netanyahu back at all right now. But do you think it's going to get better? Do they actually think that it would get better under Trump? I don't think so. Then you would see a genocide, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how crazy Netanyahu is. But he would certainly have no restraints from America if Trump were the president. So Netanyahu wouldn't hold back at all if he didn't want to. I'm not really sure what Netanyahu's end game is. Like someone said earlier, he doesn't have one. So I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But it certainly wouldn't be better, I don't think, under Trump. How would it be better? He would just go, okay, do whatever you want. I think Biden has been, putting pressure on, Biden administration has been putting pressure on Netanyahu, whereas Trump wouldn't. So these Michigan folks who have family in Gaza, you better hope and pray that Joe Biden wins, because it ain't going to get any better under Trump. It's going to get it's going to get markedly worse under Trump. Your relatives in Gaza, the likelihood of them surviving is going to get reduced greatly if Trump wins the election. That's all I got to say about that. Let that sink in, as Ojeda likes to say. Hey, this is James Jaramillo. Let's not forget that the NRA was founded after the KKK was deemed a terrorist organization. Like I said, the NRA, they have been greatly, I think, hampered with this coming out about how much money that the NRA was getting from Russia, and how they were doing a lot of Russia's, the bidding of them. And I think a lot of people are turned off by that. And I think they've lost a lot of membership. Ask says the worst flop ever. How Texas MAGA governor ruined Eagle Pass solar eclipse weekend. Ichabod Deer, I don't care about whether Trump is in office. Biden is allowing it. Biden is not allowing it. Biden is doing everything he can. I mean, what do you want him to do? Invade Israel? I mean, okay, look. I guess what you want him to do is just to stop sending weapons to Israel. Basically, what we do is I think we fund the Iron Dome, or we help with that. I mean, we could stop, but Israel has a pretty big military budget, I think, and they can get arms and stuff. It's not going to stop Israel, I don't think, really. I mean, I think Israel they don't want to lose our support. I think mainly for the message it sends to the rest of the world. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does hold back, these other countries from like I say, from overrunning Israel, because they know they've got the U.S. support. So I think that's very important, from keeping, the wolves at bay, so to speak. But I don't know. I think you're putting too much blame on Biden, and you should be putting the blame on Netanyahu. Biden's not allowing it. Biden has been trying, and the administration and the people that he has that are working these negotiations, they've been working to try to get, I think, Netanyahu to be more focused on getting the hostages out and on their rules of engagement or whatever. But I just don't think that you could just say that Biden, you could put all this blame on Biden. I think it's really, I just don't think it's accurate. Think about it, you got to go by. Okay, goodbye. Nick Rich says, Gaza condo construction site. Says part 2, the town was expected to play host to tens of thousands of visitors eager to be the first in the U.S. to see Monday's solar eclipse. So that was down in Eagle Pass, apparently. Huh? Rose Blake says, here we go again. Mr. Spock says, I've always been singled out for my views. I've always done my job 100%, 10%. But if you buck the system or sub someone in power wrong, you're effed something, a job for a year. Kept a job for a year once out of spite, laughing out loud. Well, I don't know. That's your personal problem, Mr. Spock. Mr. Rosebeck says, Mr. Deere just did a drive-by. Whatever. Mr. Spock, I'm not concerned about that, Like I say, everyone's entitled to their opinions. So don't have to always agree with me or whatever. That's fine. Mr. Spock said paid for a motorcycle and tripped though. Oh, wait. Mr. Spock says, somehow I skipped this. In the end, they fired me. I sued in a wrongful dismissal and won, but I lost. Had it been that, had it been the state that I would have won 10 times more. Had it been, I don't know what you're saying, but anyway, whatever. So you won something and you got a motorcycle and a trip. Okay, congratulations. Mr. 56 Ninjas, what a bummer, Mr. Spock. Andrew Petrie's here. Andrew says, Jack Trucker, the shills are over. I can direct all my attention to you now. Okay, well, thank you. I don't know what the shills are, but thank you for being here. Good to see you. Always good. We're just shooting the shit. We are just shooting the shit. It's already been almost 2 hours. That 2 hours flew by. The 2 hours where I was waiting for Hal to finish his show seemed to drag. Now I've been on almost for 2 hours, and it flew like that. Wow, it's amazing how the time flew by. Nick Rich says 6 p.m. my time, and it is 3:02 here in the Pacific time zone already. So it's 3 o'clock here. Nick Rich is in the Eastern time zone up there somewhere in Canada, I believe. Mr. Spock says the shills are awesome. I don't even know who the shills are. I thought it was a misprint. I thought that was a typo. I don't know who the shills are. Who the shit are the shills? Tim Farrell, blah, blah, blah. Tim Farrell is here. Thanks for coming by, Tim. With your astute observation there. Blah, blah, blah. Nick Rich, Toronto. Nick Rich representing Toronto. Mr. Spock says, damn, I missed it. And Andrew Petrie. The shills. I don't know who the shills are. Should I know who the shills are? That sounds like some alliteration there. But anyhow, we're at 2 hours. I'm getting a little, actually, I'm starting to get a little, what is it? Is it peckish? I'm getting a little peckish. I think I'm going to stop here in a couple minutes. I think I'm going to get me something to eat, make myself something to eat. And then I think I'm going to do one of my walks, if you guys want to join me for that. Andrew Petrie, the shills are you. Okay, wait a minute. So the shills are awesome. So I guess I'm awesome. But also the shills were over? I don't know. I'm confused. You've managed to confuse me, but that's not hard to do. I guess I'm easily confused. Yeah, peckish. I'm peckish. I'm a bit peckish. I'm going to have to make something to eat. Tim Frill says, Moncton at 56, Nick Rich. Mr. Spock, the shills are pro-Ukraine. Well, I'm pro-Ukraine, so I guess I'm a shill. I don't know. Nick Rich says, a P supers A. Wow. You Canadians, you speak English, but you speak a whole different language. Anyhow, we've got 27 watching, 45 thumbs up. So that's a pretty good ratio. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing. Thank you for, we've had people that have contributed memberships. We've had, not on this show, but we've had super chats and all that good stuff, memberships. I want to thank you guys all for being here. It's really awesome for coming in, and I think we're cooled down. I think we got an adequate cooldown, hopefully, from the house show there. I hope you guys are feeling, chill. I think we're chill. We got into some topics. This whole thing with Gaza and Hamas and Israel, it's not an easy one. I'm not going to sit here and just say it's easy, because it's not. It never is. This type of stuff. It's not easy. We really, for those of you who pray and for those of you who send out positive thoughts and power of positive thinking, I think we need to send out those thoughts of ending this thing as soon as possible with the least amount of death. I'm a pro two-state solution person. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know all the ins and outs of it and know all the history of it and all the back and forth of it. But I think we do need a solid two-state solution. And I think that's what Biden and his crew have been shooting for or negotiating for, and trying to get us to that place. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to just wave the magic wand or do the pen fallacy thing. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some hard negotiating. And I do think that we are in a better situation with Biden at the helm than a Trump or any Republican, whether it's Trump or anybody else. I don't think the Republicans are going to do things without always just thinking about some sort of, transactional thing of, where I think with Democrats, you try to get actual, where you're trying to think of what's best for the people. Andrew Peters says, Trucker John, I live in, oh, that's right, Dildo, Newfoundland, Labrador. And I remember thinking, I think you've said it before, and I thought, wow, there's a place called Dildo. Alba Soup says, thank you, Trucker John. Tim Farrell, really? We are taking over? I don't know what you're talking about. Janelle Walker, never heard of the shills until just now. Me either. That's a new one on me. Donna O is here. Rose Blake, what is the shills? Nick says, lots of Canadian Canucks here today. Yes, we have a strong Canadian contingency here. Contingent. We don't have a contingency, but we have a strong, contingent of presence, Canadian presence. And I love you guys. I'm glad you guys are here. I love the Canadians. Where are my Canadians? Anyhow, glad you guys are here. It's you're always welcome. Everyone's welcome from all over the world, all over the globe. You're welcome here on the Trucker John live stream. Tim Farrell says Starsky is on the shills a lot. Starsky and no Hutch though. Jolie says Trucker John has channel memberships and super chats. You can also support the show by liking, subscribing, sharing, and you can buy me a coffee over there. That does help support the show. It absolutely does. Janelle says a YouTube show about Ukraine at Rose. The shields. Okay. Well, you learn one thing about you guys is every day I do the show, I learn something new, and it's because of you guys. David Windler, Toronto, 30 degrees Fahrenheit on a winter's morning. And right now, since we're talking about weather, it's 64. When I started, it was like 60 something. But here we are, 309. Here, I'm going to be doing my walk a little later on. I'm going to get something to eat, do the walk. Mr. Spock says the Targa Rally in Newfoundland is the longest rally in the world. Well, there you go. Some more information. Some more stuff I didn't know. But anyhow, guys, thanks for being here on this Saturday. Like I said, in a little bit, give me a little time to get something to eat. Maybe about an hour or so. We'll do a walk. We're going to be out on the streets here in Las Vegas. And then, of course, I think Monday, I'm going to resume the 10K on the Strip. So look for that on Monday. Probably around noonish, I'm thinking. Around noonish Pacific time zone. And then, of course, Tuesdays, Thursdays, we do a 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's sort of where Hal would be if he was doing a Tuesday, Thursday morning show. But instead, it's going to be me. And we can chill out on Tuesday, Thursdays in the mornings at 9 a.m. Thursday afternoon show, that's when we do the warm-up. A little hour before when Hal comes on at 4 p.m. I'll do a 3 p.m. just to warm up, get you guys warmed up, stretched, loosed, ready to go. We do that, and then we'll be back Saturday, a week from today. Hopefully it won't be a 2-hour extra wait there, but it was a good one. It was a good one today with Hal, so I'm not complaining. But you guys are in here. I'm just looking real quick at the chatters. Thank you to everyone who's here on YouTube. Thanks for if anyone's over there on Facebook or Twitch. Thank you guys for being there as well. We do a multicast at those places. So I will be back in probably about an hour or so. If you guys want to hang out with me out on the street. So we got that. So once again, thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and go over to, let's take that off. Wait, take that off. And I guess we'll go ahead and I'm going to say, oh yeah, and also I'm going to probably do some stretching because to get ready for the walk, I don't want, I don't want to pull a hammy. Thanks for being here.